this is the first house I ever invested in. They say it's as safe as houses. There's a reason for that statement. The numbers on this house are astonishing. Just check what its value is now, £160,000. I bought it for £80,000, the best ever deal that I ever did. So I got this house for free. And if you haven't got any money, this is the way to build massive, massive cash flow. But I got 15 grand back in my bank account as well. So I got paid to buy this house. That means I can buy 4 more houses. Now this may sound crazy, and it's a little bit of a secret, but you don't actually need any of your own money to invest in property. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. Hi everyone, I'm Katy Wilson and we are here in Nottingham. So I'm a property investor. So I've been in property for 6 years now and I've made some mistakes, admittedly. But I've also had some fantastic achievements and some really big wins. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can start from zero and build a huge property empire. Before we get started, make sure you click the like, subscribe, and hit the bell. So before I got into property, I was a project manager. I used to work in the IT industry. So my job was to implement systems in businesses to help them run more efficiently. I live in Nottingham, but my job was based in London. So I used to work for some really high-end clients, such as the royal family. I used to work Monday to Friday in London, living out of a hotel, living out of a suitcase. And if I'm honest, it wore thin quite quickly. So then I just quit. I'm not the type of person that just quits. I just couldn't do what I was doing anymore. So I quit my job, so I needed to build my wings on the way down. I'm one of these people that I need to know and understand if I'm going to invest money, because I'm quite a tight person, I'm quite risk averse. Read a couple of books, listened to loads of podcasts, absorbed as much information about property as I could. And I got tickets to a fantastic event, a multiple streams of property income event, came to that event, and the rest is history. So we are at my first ever property. This is a simple buy-to-let property. So this is the first house I ever invested in. I bought it back in October 2016 and I paid £105,000 for it, which, to be fair, at the time was a great price, but actually now as a trained property professional, I know I could have done a lot better, but they say property is like a bad haircut. If you pay too much for it, it will grow out. So actually, I've had this house since 2016. I've now refinanced it once after 2 years. And with that refinance, I managed to pull all of the money out that I originally invested. So this house owes me nothing. So this property rents out for £625 a month, which with a mortgage means that I'm making just over £320 a month net. So you might be thinking, well, it's only just over £320 a month profit. But actually, property is a numbers game. So this is one of 11 properties that I now own. So when you start to add those up and create passive income, that can be life-changing. And if you know how to do it, you can do it a lot quicker than you may think. Now, this may sound crazy, and it's a little bit of a secret, but you don't actually need any of your own money to invest in property. So later in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can acquire properties like this and properties for yourself with none of your own money, learning how to raise joint venture finance with private investors. I think what makes a good investment property is the ability to buy at the right price, property that doesn't need too much money spending on it, so you don't want to be doing massive refurbs, and has a really strong rent. How many properties does someone need to be financially free? Depends on what you earn. Now, the average income is £31,500 a year, so that's just over £2,100 net in your bank account each month. So that means that you only need probably a maximum of 8 properties to be able to be completely financially free. And that is just living off the net cash flow each month, not even considering when you do refinance and you can pull big chunks of money out. Technically, you could live off that as well. So we are at my second property that I ever bought. This beautiful property that is behind us. I bought this property, it completed in early 2017. Purchase price was £85,000. I spent £8,000 on refurb, and I've just checked what its value is now, and it's actually £160,000 is its value right now. Another one that you just want to add to your portfolio, let it roll, And you see, when you're adding these up, this just builds and builds and builds, buying them low money down, pulling big chunks of money out and living off the cash flow as well. Here's the really exciting bit. This property is due for a refinance. So if I bought this property for £85,000 and I'm refinancing it at 160, I'm going to pull a massive chunk of money out of this house. And this is why property is absolutely amazing. So this is the second house that I ever purchased. So things are a little bit different with this one, because the first one, I had to put my own money into it. Now this one, I didn't, because I raised the joint venture finance to be able to buy this property cash, to spend £8,000 on refurb. I then refinanced it within 6 months and pulled a chunk of money out then. So now this is set for another refinance, so I can refinance this today and pull even more money out. So 75% of 160. Perfect. This is why you need to get into property and start building a portfolio, because you have no idea how much money you can pull out and live on or use to invest in more property until you get educated. These houses here are the perfect houses for buy-to-let. These are the ones that I personally love. And these are your typical ex-council, ex-local authority houses, built really strong, back when the councils had massive budgets to be able to build them. They're laid out lovely, they've got driveways, front gardens, back gardens. I don't have any idea where I'm going right now to find the next house. So hang on. This is what happens when you leverage and you get the lettings agent to do it for you. I don't manage any of my properties myself. I am known as one of the laziest people in property. They call me lazy as a joke, but the reality is I leverage everything out. So everything is truly passive for me, which is why currently right now I'm just Googling where my next house is, because it's been such a long time since I've been to it, I can't actually remember how to get to it. So we are currently at my third property. This one is a pretty simple one, but we actually changed our strategy to purchase this one. So I went from paying cash to refurbish to refinance, to changing the strategy to putting this one straight on a mortgage, because I wanted to buy a load of houses fast just to get that cash flow coming in. Now, is that a mistake or isn't it? It's not a mistake as such, but there's better ways of doing it. And now I'm more experienced and educated and more sophisticated as a property investor, I would have done things differently. And we've just valued this property online now, and it's probably worth about 135, 140. I bought it for £80,000 back in 2017. So I needed to put 25% of £80,000 into this property, plus stamp duty, plus legals. I managed to raise all of that from private investor finance. So this is the other great skill that you can learn in property, is to raise investor finance so that you never need to worry about lack of funds again. I've spent the last 3 years focusing on working with investors, because when you focus on working with investors, the sky becomes the limit. It can massively accelerate and catapult your property journey. So no matter what you want to do in property, one of the key skills you need to learn is how to work with investors. And I can remember sitting there watching other people saying that they've raised all this finance, thinking, I'll never be able to do that. And actually, it's very, very simple what you need to do. You need to tell everybody what it is that you do, so that you can buy more houses like this to cash flow you, again, £300 a month net. That's another one to add to the portfolio. And then you just keep going. So this fence cost us all of £0 other than time. My mum, bless her, I said to her, I need a fence by 2 o'clock. So she went to the local wood yard, persuaded them to give us some scrap wood. She managed to make that fence and she painted it. Look at that beauty. Do these nails look like I do refurbs? No, it's all about leverage, even if it's your mum. If you ask me to paint a wall, there'll be more paint on the floor than on the wall. How I managed to paint my face on in the morning is a shocker to everybody.
Rather have 100 grand cash or 3 buy-to-lets?
I'd rather have 3 buy-to-lets any day. With 3 buy-to-lets, I've probably got more than 100 grand in equity in the 3. I can get cash flow from all 3, and all 3 are going to appreciate in value, which means I can pull even more money out. So I strongly believe personally that you shouldn't buy a new build property, because what you get with new build properties is that they're overinflated. There's a chance you could be in negative equity if you don't buy properly. When you buy a non-new build property, you have the opportunity to add value, which therefore means that you can pull more money out in theory on your buy, refurbish, refinance. These houses will be what I would class as cheap as chips, but actually the rents will still be really strong on these houses. And in this area that we're in right now, they will still appreciate as well, probably about 4% a year. So we are at the best ever deal that I ever did. This house here, number 120. I agreed this deal with a view initially to keep it for myself. The numbers on this house are astonishing. Market value of this house is 75 grand, and that's conservative. You could probably push it up to 80, maybe 82. I agreed this house for 39,999. Yep, 39,999, with a view to do it up, to buy it, refurbish it, refinance it. But what I actually did was I packaged this one on because it doesn't fit my criteria. What I did was I used a creative contract. So I agreed to buy the house from the seller at 39,999, and then I found an investor to buy it at £63,000 and profited £23,000 in the middle. That's a creative contract. Now what that means is I didn't buy this house. It never went in my name. I just sold the contract on. So I didn't have to pay stamp duty. I didn't have to get lending on the property. I didn't have to refurbish it or pay utilities on it or insure it. Just sat in the middle as a middleman and controlled the contract and made 23 grand in the middle. So the great thing about deal packaging is it's a really, really fast strategy to make big chunks of cash really, really fast. From finding this deal to being able to tie this deal up and getting paid was less than 48 hours. And this is the great thing about deal packaging. You get paid up front. So the big chunks of cash, you get paid up front, it's low risk, you're just agreeing the contract with no money in for you, and then you sell that contract on for big, big cash flow. So we're at the next property, as you can see, and I'm having to talk really loud because it's really busy. This is the main road in and out of the town. But that makes a fantastic investment for our next property. I bought this house for £80,000, and at the time I bought it, it was worth about 100,000. It's probably worth about 120 now. Again, this is another one that needs refinancing. I've got a lot of houses I can refinance right now, pull big chunks of cash out. The mistake that I see so many people making when they're getting into property is that they just think it's about going out and just buying houses. They say education is expensive. Try ignorance. You need to learn from other people's experiences. You need to learn all the golden nuggets to not only save you money, but make you more money. And that's the key to getting educated. Right, shall we go and have a look at the next one? Let's go.
Let's go.
Right, let's go backwards first. This is one of the best deals I've ever done that I've kept for myself. So the numbers on this property are incredible. I bought this property for £70,000. It's had a full refurb, new windows, kitchen, bathroom, carpets, paint, central heating system, new boiler, everything. And that refurb cost £18,000. Yeah, you heard it right, £18,000. It's all about power team, guys. This property is being refinanced at the moment and the value on it is £140,000, which means I'm set to get £105,000 back in my bank account for a house that I still own and rent out for £700 a month. This lead, before it became a deal, took quite a long time to progress. So I remember I got the call from the vendor who owned this house at the time in February 2018 when I was in Dubai on my sunbed. They then rang me back in September 2018, again when I'm on my sunbed in Greece, and I agreed to buy this property. Now, I agreed to buy this property on holiday with no idea how I was going to pay for it. But as a professional property investor, stroke deal packager, I knew that I had the skills to be able to get this house funded. I actually put a post on Facebook, and within 30 minutes, an investor offered me the money to buy this house cash. So the great thing about refinancing this property is that when the money lands back in my bank account, I'm going to have £105,000. That means I can buy 4 more houses. 4 more houses at £300 a month, that's quite a lot of money. That's £1,200 a month net, we're talking net. And 4 more houses appreciating in capital appreciation at about 4% a year. That means that I'm going to be able to refinance all 4 of them in a couple of years as well and buy 4 more from each one of them. This is how it multiplies. It's compounding all the time. So for those people who say to me, why are you investing in property right now? Because we're going to have a crash. The reality is, I don't have a crystal ball. At some point there will be a property crash. If you are a professional property investor and you want to build a buy-to-let portfolio, you then in theory are going to keep those long term. So if you're investing long term, it won't affect you. If anything, it will be positive because rents will just continue to go higher. Everyone needs somewhere to live. There'll always be demand for someone to live in a rental property. I love buy-to-let. I believe strongly that everybody should do buy-to-let. Buy-to-let should be your bread and butter, the foundation of your property empire, your property portfolio. And then you can choose whether you want to add on or test out one of the more sexy strategies. Deal packaging is the perfect strategy to find the best deals for your portfolio. And if they're not good enough for you and your portfolio with your criteria, you can sell those on and cash flow yourself as well. Then maybe we could talk about doing serviced accommodation or houses of multiple occupation, also known as HMOs, to make even more cash flow a month. So we are at another one of my properties, that property there behind us. This is a fantastic deal. So the numbers on this property, again, insane. Bought this property for £75,000. Now I bought it straight away on a mortgage, and then I refinanced that house 2 years later for £130,000. So not only did I make all my money back, which is the unicorn, because it can't be done, it can, if you know how, I managed to get paid £15,000 just for buying this house. Not only did I get all my money out, but I got 15 grand back in my bank account as well. So I got paid to buy this house. I still have the asset. I still rent out this house for £675 a month. This deal came to me, I had a motivated seller. The lady that owned this house was in financial difficulties. She'd not paid a mortgage for 3 months and the repossession process had started. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't really want to get involved with people in financial difficulties because we're taking advantage. We're actually not. If you can create a win-win situation like I did for the owner of this house at the time, then you can create a win-win situation and get yourself a deal. So the lady that walked away from this house didn't get repossessed because I stopped the repossession. She walked away with £16,000 in her bank account. She moved into a bungalow just down the road. She had no more stress. And I managed to get a 25% below market value deal, which at the time when I bought this house was worth £100,000, refinanced for £130,000. So just by buying this house, bought me another house. And that's the key to building a portfolio and the cookie cutter approach to buy, refurbish, refinance. You just need to know how to do it right. So we are at my latest project. When I came to view this property, there were tens of thousands of pounds worth of drugs in the property when I came to see it. Now, drugs were not included in this deal. That is not why this is a good deal. The numbers speak for themselves. So this property, before I did it up, worth £120,000. Did a refurb of about £30,000. I managed to get the lending on this property, which is called a bridge to buy to let, which means I can borrow up to 85% loan to value based on the market value, with the caveat that they'll pay me up to 100% of purchase price, which means that I agreed to buy this house for £85,000, which actually means that this was a no money down deal. So I got this house for free. This house has just been tenanted and I rent it out for £850 a month. Any savvy deal packager that finds a deal like this is going to want to keep it for themselves, because to sell this house for £5,000 fee, rents you £850 a month, and you can refinance it and pull money out, why would you want to package it? So we've come to the end of the video. I have shown you how I went from zero to having a substantial property portfolio worth just shy of £2 million. So the results that you've seen that I've achieved are nothing special. This isn't luck, this is process, this is consistent action taken with a plan that I've been given. In the description below, there is a link for you to be able to download a property report so that you can learn more about property investing, and it's absolutely free. So don't miss that opportunity to download that report now. Click the link. So I attended a multiple streams of property income event 5 years ago now, and it's been the best event that I've ever been to, because you get to see all the different property strategies, you learn things that you never even thought were possible in property. There is an opportunity for you to join us, multiple streams of property income event. You can register for free tickets to this event by clicking the link in the description below. It will change your life. Make sure to like, subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss another video. I've been Katy Wilson, you've been brilliant. I hope to see you soon at the next multiple streams of property income event. See you there.